Now, my 6 seeds, I have the Texans and the Patriots with the bye week. I have the Texans taking the number 1 seed. I have Baltimore taking the
By the
number...
way, I'm just going to throw in there, I have the same 2 as the top 2 seeds
Do
in
you?
the AFC.
I have Baltimore as my number 3, and then I have Kansas City as my number 4. Then my 2 wild card teams I have is Pittsburgh and Denver. Now, you already have... You agree... You have the same 1 and 2. Now, what's your 3, 4, 5, 6?
3 would also be the Ravens.
Okay.
4 would be Denver.
Okay.
Because I think they're going to win the AFC West.
Yeah, me and you got into it a while back on our opinion on the AFC West.
I think 5 is going to be the Steelers.
Okay.
And then 6 is where I've kind of been going back and forth between some teams.
Gut check decision time.
Yeah, I'm going to say... I go back and forth because part of me wants to say the Jets, but I just, in my heart of hearts, I can't say it. It's so hard.
You say Kansas City for me.
I can't see Kansas City, though. I'm going to say 6 is the Jets.
6 of the Jets. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. Now you want to go? We'll go conference by conference.
Yeah, we'll finish up the AFC here
All
first.
Right.
I mean, I got the so obviously I have the Jets versus the Ravens. I got the Ravens beating the Jets.
Okay.
And then as far as the 4-5 between Pittsburgh and Denver, rematch from last year, by the way, in the first round.
Yep.
I could see.
And this would be in Denver again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh this time though. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh. So
Pittsburgh take this?
Yeah, I got Pittsburgh. So that would mean the Ravens are going against the Texans.
Okay.
This is number 2 seed. The Texans, I got the Texans. I got the Ravens winning that game. I do.
That'd be one hell of a defensive battle.
I also have New England beating the Steelers.
Okay.
And then I have the Ravens actually this year beating New England.
Okay.
Which they should have done last year.
Yeah.
And I have the Ravens in the Super Bowl.
Okay, so you got the Ravens coming out of the AFC.
Coming out of the AFC.
Me, I actually have a very similar path as you do. I mean, one or two team names are different, but really not by much. I have Baltimore beating Denver in the first round matchup because I have Denver as my 6, so I have Denver as my wild card. So I have Baltimore beating Denver. I have Pittsburgh beating Kansas City. Kansas City being my 4, Pittsburgh being my other wild card. Then I have Houston beating Pittsburgh. Because I have Houston as my number 1 seed. I have New England as my 2. I have Houston beating Pittsburgh and then Baltimore beating New England. And then I actually have Houston beating Baltimore.
Really?
I do. I wanted to have some fun with this. And I'm like, you know what? Even though I'm actually out of the AFC, the 2 teams that I'm rooting for in the AFC are Baltimore and the Jets. Those are the 2 teams that I'm pulling for. Mainly the Jets because of my closest friend. He's a Jet fan, so I root for him. So I have Houston beating Baltimore in the AFC Championship game, which would put Houston in the Super Bowl for me. Now in the NFC, I have Green Bay at the 1, San Francisco at the 2, which would pretty much be identical from last year. Philadelphia I actually have as the number 3 seed. I have Atlanta at the 4, and then Chicago at the 5, and the Giants getting in as the number 6 seed. Now, I'm not sure if you're with me with the top 2. I mean, we
I'm with
nailed
you
that
with
with
the
the
top
AFC.
2, but I would reverse it. I'm going to go with San Fran getting the 1 seed and Green Bay getting the 2. Is the way I see it. I see the 3 seed probably going to the winner of the NFC South, which I think would be the Saints.
Okay.
The 4, I think, would be... the other day I said the Giants. I'm going to stick with them. Giants 10-6.
Okay.
And then I got... This is where it gets dicey for me again.
The NFC wild card is going to be a diluted
I'm going to switch it up a little
mess.
bit from what I said the other day. I've had a little bit of a change of heart. I'm going to go with the Bears as the 4...
At the 5?
At the 5.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Atlanta at the 6.
Okay. So you got New Orleans winning the NFC South, but Atlantic's getting in as a wild card.
Atlanta
Green Bay winning the North,
card.
And Chicago coming in, which is what you just said before. You think you're going to get 2-2 from those divisions.
Earlier in the week, I had said I thought the Lions were going to get in, but I think the Lions could be on the outside looking in again. But, I mean, they could be interchangeable with the Bears, depending on how the season goes, to be honest with you. As far as the breakdown of how it goes, I have the Saints over Atlanta in the 6th seed.
Okay.
I have the Giants over the Bears.
Okay.
In that game.
Which would be a great game.
I would then have Green Bay over the Giants.
Okay.
In the divisional round.
They finally get their revenge.
I think they get their revenge.
Man, that chip on their shoulder is going to be all
as
year
a
long.
Giant fan pains me, and of course I'm going to root for them, but I'm just not going to be a homer and just pick the Giants just to pick them.
Yeah.
It's really hard to repeat in the NFL. And I see the Saints and San Fran. I got San Fran. And I think this is a year that San Fran's going to top Green Bay and make it to the Super Bowl. My Super Bowl prediction is San Fran and Baltimore.
Oh, the Harbaugh brothers. Love it. I love it. All right, now let me do mine, and then we'll actually throw out who we think is going to win the Super Bowl. I had, like I said, I got the Giants at the 6. I have them actually going to Philadelphia and beating Philly. I think Philly's going to be really good this year. I just think injuries will catch up to them sooner or later. So I got the Giants beating Philadelphia, and then I have Chicago beating Atlanta in the 5-4 matchup. I had Chicago as my 5. I just still don't see Atlanta winning a playoff game. Still just don't see it. Then I have Green Bay, similar as you. I have Green Bay beating the Giants. I think the revenge factor to Green Bay, like if there's one game they're praying to get this year in the playoffs, I think they want the Giants in the playoffs. I just think it's that kind of year, where that hurt them and they can't let go of it. So I got Green Bay beating the Giants, and then I actually have Chicago beating San Francisco. I have Chicago winning back-to-back road games. Then we get to Green Bay versus Chicago, an NFC North battle. And to me, Green Bay is your home team. But believe it or not, I actually have Chicago winning another game on the road, pulling the wild card tradition of what's been going on over the past few years. And I have Chicago getting to the Super Bowl, playing Houston, playing Chicago in the Super Bowl. And with that said, my prediction for the Super Bowl is I have Houston beating Chicago in the Super Bowl with Arian Foster as the MVP. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my playoff predictions. Eric? You got the Harbaugh Bowl. It's going to be a defensive battle.
But I got San Fran winning the Harbaugh Bowl. I do. Because I think they have one of the best defenses in the NFC. And I think this year their offense, which was not really a big factor for them last year, being a big part of it this year. I think they're going to be a much improved offense. And I really see them beating the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I think in a close game, but I think they win.
As a Cowboy fan, that makes me miserable because that would put them at 6 championships, and Dallas would be sitting all alone at 5. It'd be San Francisco and Pittsburgh at 6. Dallas would be at 5. The Giants at 4. I think there's one other team with 4. And then a few with 3. That would make me very sad. One of my closest friends is a Steeler fan, and when they won their 6-1, he just walked up to me. He's like, just showed me 6. Every time I say, oh, how many do we have? Oh, how many do you have? I'm like, shut up, you son of a... But anyway, so we banged that out pretty quick. I like that. So you got San Francisco winning the Super Bowl. I've got the Houston Texans winning the Super Bowl. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Odds have it, me and him could be completely wrong or completely right. You have no freaking clue, and that's why we love the game of football.
Find out about 6 months from now.
Yeah, about 6 months from now, we'll see how correct me and Eric really are. Shout out to Jake and Fife throwing in some predictions. Fife likes San Francisco, Denver, with San Francisco winning it. I do like that. And then McLovin G-Men's throwing out a bunch of predictions, which I have no issue with. Think Stephen Hill might lead the Jets in receiving touchdowns. Victor Cruz might lead the NFL in receiving yards and scores double-digit touchdowns. Or apparently he just said that a few minutes ago. Either which way. Shout out to you guys for contributing to the chat room. I truly, truly do appreciate it. I believe we have one other prediction that I wanted to read about. Prediction, Tim Tebow will lead the league in rushing or maybe just the Jets. I like either one. I think that's pretty funny. And Vic missing 3 to 4 weeks due to a concussion. Those are some of the predictions that our buddy McLovin G-Men's throwing into the chat room, and I appreciate them all. Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached game prediction time. Man, Fridays are going to be fun this year.
Yeah.
This is flying right now. We reached game prediction time. Now, I know your Pops is going to be calling in.
Yeah, he's going to be calling in about 3 minutes or so.
All right, so we'll get started. And while we do that, actually, what I'm going to do is before I start, ladies and gentlemen, I am putting in the chat room right now the link to our fan page because I would love for everybody to go on there, post your game picks for this coming week. And like I said, we are going to keep track of this all year long. And when it's all said and done, whoever wins record-wise, we will give out a $50 gift card.
And if you can't get to the Facebook page, feel free to give us a call, 201-430-2119. We'll take them over the phone as well. Like I said, I got my father calling in. Hopefully we get some other callers. But yeah, 201-430-2119 is the number.
And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump right into it. I just wrote them down in the order of 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games. So